In the early morning haze of March 24, 1945, near Wesel, Germany, Private First Class Donald Wagner of the 17th Airborne Division shouldered a weapon that would change infantry warfare forever, the M18 recoilless rifle. At just over 44 pounds and armed with a telescopic sight, Wagner scanned for German positions beyond the Rhine. His loader, Private Eugene Clark, prepared a high-explosive anti-tank round capable of penetrating over 76 millimeters of armor at distances far exceeding what German defenders could counter. The Panzerfaust, once a feared anti-tank weapon, had an effective range of just 60 meters under ideal conditions. But the M18? It could strike targets accurately at 450 meters, giving American infantry a battlefield edge previously reserved for light artillery. Developed in just 18 months by American engineers Edward Kroger and William Muser for under $200 per unit, and manufactured in Canada, the M18 was a triumph of simplicity, efficiency, and deadly effectiveness. As part of Operation Varsity, the largest airborne assault in a single day, Wagner's M18 team spotted a German machine gun nest at 420 meters. He fired. The 57mm round streaked out at 366 meters per second, and thanks to its recoilless design, venting gases through 400 tiny holes, it maintained perfect accuracy. The German defenders were annihilated before they even realized they were under attack. For them, it was as if death had struck from nowhere. The M18 fundamentally altered the combat dynamic. American paratroopers used it to eliminate enemy positions from safe distances, where German weapons like the Panzerfaust couldn't reach. Veterans like Lieutenant James Patterson described how his squads would set up beyond enemy range, destroy fortifications, and relocate before any German counterattack could land. The M18's superiority lay not just in range, but in versatility. It fired high-explosive rounds for anti-personnel work, heat rounds for armor, white phosphorus for smoke and incendiary effects, and even post-war canister rounds for close defense. In contrast, the Panzerfaust was a one-shot, single-purpose weapon. German troops were forced to carry multiple disposable launchers, or risk being defenseless after one shot. Throughout the European and Pacific theaters, the M18 shattered enemy morale. German officers described it as a weapon they couldn't identify, couldn't counter, and couldn't escape. Its low backblast and minimal smoke made it nearly invisible on the battlefield. Reports from Italy, Germany, the Netherlands, and Okinawa all tell the same story. American soldiers, armed with the M18, decimated enemy positions from hundreds of meters away, safe, effective, and largely untouchable. The psychological toll was immense. Desertion rates among German infantry units facing the M18 tripled. A U.S. Army psychiatrist coined the term technological defeat syndrome to describe the demoralization of soldiers who knew their weapons were obsolete. A captured German Feldwebel put it bluntly, "We were prepared to die for Germany, but dying without being able to fight back is not warfare. It's execution." Even allies and observers recognized the M18's impact. Canadian, British, Polish, and Brazilian units deployed it with stunning results. Reports poured in from military observers across the globe. Finnish, Yugoslav, Egyptian, and Turkish officials all concluded that the M18 had rendered existing anti-tank doctrines obsolete. Some, like Japanese Colonel Yamamoto, urged immediate peace negotiations after witnessing the weapon in action. Others, like Soviet observers, recognized the need to reverse engineer it immediately or risk permanent tactical inferiority. In the Pacific, Marines used the M18 to clear Japanese bunkers and caves from hundreds of meters away, avoiding the brutal close-quarters assaults previously required. In Bremen, American troops used white phosphorus rounds to blind German defenders, followed by high explosive to finish them off. The weapon transformed urban combat into methodical, one-sided demolitions. What made the M18 so effective was not just the design, but the industrial system that supported it. American factories produced thousands of units and over 1 million rounds by the war's end, each component meticulously manufactured to tight tolerances. German engineers, struggling with material shortages and Allied bombing, simply couldn't compete. But the story of the M18 isn't just one of American innovation, it's one of Allied industrial cooperation on a scale the Axis could never match. Raw steel arrived from Pittsburgh, projectiles came from Pennsylvania, brass cartridges from Connecticut, and propellant from Tennessee. Final assembly was done in Montreal, Canada, by workers who knew their products would save lives. The optical sights, precision-built by Bosch and Lohm with anti-glare coatings for low-light effectiveness. Each piece reflected a continent-wide effort to produce quality over quantity and effectiveness over desperation. As Germany collapsed, foreign militaries scrambled to obtain M18s. Polish officers noted the poetic justice of using American weapons to defeat German troops who had once overwhelmed them with blitzkrieg. British observers praised the rifle for eliminating the need for suicidal bravery in anti-tank operations. Even neutral nations like Switzerland and Spain recognized that the M18 represented not just a new weapon, but a new doctrine, one where technology, range, and firepower replaced brute force and sacrifice. This post-war legacy was just as profound. The M18 directly influenced NATO's adoption of lightweight artillery solutions. Its innovations, like the perforated case and recoilless mechanism, are still in use today in weapons like the Carl Gustav, proving that good engineering can outlast generations. By contrast, the Panzerfaust, for all its wartime use, faded into obsolescence, its last known combat use occurring decades later by rebels in Syria, a historical curiosity compared to the enduring legacy of the M18. By May 8, 1945, when Germany surrendered, the M18 recoilless rifle had proven that American industrial capability combined with pragmatic engineering could produce weapons that didn't just match enemy systems, but completely transcended them. It turned the once feared Panzerfaust into a relic, evidence that in modern warfare, courage is not enough. Because in the end, physics doesn't care about bravery. Superior range, firepower, and production win wars. And the M18 didn't just win battles, it rewrote the rules of infantry combat for the modern age. The M18's impact went beyond the battlefield. It became a case study in how industrial synergy, rapid innovation, and clear tactical goals could deliver overwhelming results. Military academies across the world began rethinking their doctrines, placing greater emphasis on mobility, precision, and range. In many ways, the M18 wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol that the future of warfare belonged not to the boldest soldier, but to the smartest nation. One that could build, adapt, and outthink its enemy before the first shot was ever fired.